All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning into today's podcast/video. So this is a long form video with Nikolai, who's a psoriasis sufferer. He's had it for a very long time. He's a member of my online community, the Eat, Cleanse, Move community, which is an online course for teaching people the natural method of healing eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, and rosacea, any skin health issue. He is a really positive, good dude. And I think you guys are going to gain a lot from this conversation. We talk about his journey, the things that are working, the things that aren't working, and we troubleshoot and answer all of his questions. So enjoy this podcast. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the description box. And for those of you who are new to this channel, thanks for showing up. My name's Rob Stuart. I'm a skin health coach. I've been focusing on helping people with eczema, dermatitis, and psoriasis, rosacea for over a decade now. I've worked with over 3,000 clients. I do private coaching. I have an online course. I have an email list that I put out really awesome information to, and I put out a ton of free information. So welcome to the channel. If you need implementation help figuring out how to heal your skin, please check out the links in the description box. We are here to help. And without further ado, this is Nikolai. Let's have you share with the listeners and the viewers a little history about your skin health. You know, what it used to be like, what things you've tried, and then kind of where you're at right now. And then what we'll do is we'll get into your specific questions and see if we can make some progress and some dents in those questions and get things nice and clear for you.
Epic, man. Thank you. So definitely it was a journey of discovery, like I first thought I have something on my hair, and I don't know, it was some shampoos and stuff 20 years ago, right? Like it was it was internet starting where I live in Peru. I'm from Peru, so we have a little delay from the US always. And just shampoos and creams, and then it comes to my elbows and my chest, and just little dots. Actually, when I have the less psoriasis, I think I was the most stressed, and then I try to apply many systems, not thinking about it, creams, steroids called corticoids here, no? So like even creams that are not allowed to use anymore, no? I used to use that creams. So definitely then it came to a different approach. I try to clean my diet. Definitely I thought it was something cleansing needed to do, like I felt like with many therapies and many tries, like it was something in my blood, like I felt like it was something there. So I tried many things, and definitely the medicine side of it, the creams and the treatments didn't feel right. No, I did try at the beginning, and and then I stopped. Then I also tried with plants. Being from Peru, there's definitely access to kind of like traditional plants and stuff. And also, actually, it wasn't so helpful at the moment, because I received some information about like my diet. Like I eat meat that had this disease, so I shouldn't eat meat, no? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna cleanse, I'm gonna be vegan and stuff, no? And I tried that, and I mean, the skin kind of like went up and down, but definitely I lost a lot of weight. I lost a lot of I don't know, I felt like some energy. I am a very hyperactive person, so with vegan diet or with meat diet, I'm also always doing stuff, but definitely I lost a lot of weight that it's been hard to recover. I actually changed into eating meat again just 3 4 years ago, kind of a thing. And it feels better, no? Definitely, I think nature, it's been my most like trustful medicine, no? So a healthy environment, like if I'm in a sunny place with a clean ocean, and I spend like couple of hours, being a weekend, of course, but like half an hour or 45 minutes in between the day where I go to the ocean, swim, put myself on the sand, and like dry with the sun. Like I repeat that in between like 4 to 6 times every day. And I think that's what I've seen like being the most effective and powerful. It's like, I don't know, I mean, I'm been reading a lot, and also with the conversations and the network with you, right? But like it's I don't know, it's where my faith is, no? Like I feel like you become the sun, you become the sand, you become the ocean, and everything just feels better. And then I know there's a science that back up that, no? So that's also cool to know, but regardless, like being just an experiment and trying it out, like definitely it's not the same, just this some knowledge. I don't know if it's worth it to somebody, but like it's not the same as you just stay in the sun or you just go into the ocean, no? Like that system of like really going in and out and drying and move your body to the angle of the sun so then you really receive the sun. It really helps, no? It really helps. And definitely now with the diet and being more aware of especially after the pandemic. And the pandemic, I was just surviving here in the north of Peru. You couldn't do so many things, so I was eating a lot of carbs, a lot of quinoa, rice, sweet potatoes, and stuff like that. It was the easiest to survive on. And I saw it. No, I was like, wait, no, my food's not right. No, there's something. And by adding the meat and changing all that, dude, also in Peru, there's some doctors I seen, and they are 100% supporting this type of healing process with the food, with the fats, with the meat, no, with sleeping, with the exercising, no. So it's not just. I think from 20 years ago to now, the information it's completely different, no. And I'm happy to be part of this group of people that it's looking healing the inside out. No, like I think I didn't want to trust it or believe it, and it's just hard to accept, really. No, that you need to do something from. No, it's a hard thing to accept, but I think it's the only is the this is the way. No, so thank you, Rob, for this space and also for all the mentoring among this time to keep track, and keeping with the marathon approach.
Absolutely, man. No problem. It's my pleasure. Obviously, I've been through what you are going through in some way, shape, or form. So we have that relatability, and it's my cross to bear in life. I was afflicted with skin health, gut health, hormone issues, like everyone watching these videos and trying to find the answers. And luckily, with my own investigations and my own process, I was able to figure it out. And it's been cool through the years to develop a system that is obviously it's kind of challenging. Anything worthwhile is, but that really does work long term if you hit all the different holistic aspects of it that you are talking about. So it's my pleasure to share it with the world. And it's great having people like you in our circle and in the bigger community because, having a optimistic, positive, realistic mindset and being someone who actually puts in the work, you're kind of like the perfect representation of how to go about trying to heal. It is challenging. It is up and down. Psoriasis sucks. We all know that, but
it sucks.
But you have a great attitude through it all.
Yes, dude, like it's also like a shape, like that shapes your life, and change you and make you change so many things that maybe if not you wouldn't change it, no? And then you're like you can play that game of like, oh man, you're lucky enough that you don't even have to think about it. But like I think conscious and being aware, it's being awake, is being just like alive, is just you can't go back, so
Absolutely,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Absolutely. In the moment, my response to having eczema, dermatitis, and psoriasis was I suffered. I was optimistic and I was hardworking and had a good mindset, but it's a lot of suffering. Now looking back, almost 13 years removed from that, I've had healthy skin for over a decade. I look back and I can honestly say getting skin disease was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. It gave me the clarity and purpose on what I need to do to help people. And it also taught me how absolutely miraculous the body is and how it can heal from pretty much anything. It also gave me a very clear understanding of what health feels like compared to suffering. And nothing could be more valuable than understanding just normal, basic health is a miracle and is a blessing, and it feels great. And I want everyone to experience that. So With that said, I'd love to jump into your questions. I know that you've had a pretty long history dealing with this. I know you've been in the Eat, Cleanse, Move online course for a while. And so I'd love to see kind of where you're at and what your questions are moving forward.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. Basically, the last year I overcome this appendicitis thing. So it was the most challenging, but at the same time, as you were saying, like these bad things, know how to help really change the mindset of like just like having a not just a positive mind, but also like a positive attitude towards everything, no, even the negativity and like how so that's really been a difference from the last year. I would say a positive, like overcoming this general inflammation in my body and like injured, physically injured. Like I couldn't do walking was the most incredible thing to do. So I think just not doing this last year like that, it's been very kind of like opening mind to really value every minute. It's like I thought I was doing it, and I realized I need to accept this that I wasn't. I wasn't. I was just really surviving, like you were saying, like the suffering, no? And I didn't realize until I almost lost it, no? So I was like, wait, no. So that thing for sure have shift something, but it's challenging to be here in the north of Peru and try to kind of have like clean food. Like you got a grocery that everything I washed with, like white vinegar and like stuff like that, just to like, but still, it's like it's not very trustful. It's really low quality eating, right? At the same time, it's the best you can find here, and it's not everybody can achieve it, also, right? So at the same time, is this reality, no? So I can have a system where I have a local butcher, no, and like I got my stuff, and there's also fish, and I try not to like keeping the times and stuff. But I think the question, my main question will be around the cleansing part. No, like there are some times that I feel like I just need to stop eating for a day, right? Like I think, but I'm a little confused after this recovery because there's a part of my body that says like, no, dude, give me more food. Like you're actually not eating so much. And I'm like, kind of like this. I always struggle with the cleansing part. I feel no. I think my most and the only cleanse I do is the water fasting. No, so which I like, because that if you are lucky, if I'm lucky, you take that day also to meditate and to just chill, and just walk around and just keep it quiet. No, so that's cool. But it's at the same time challenging to find. No, like I know Sundays are the best, but here Sundays have like a people building a wall outside right now. They take advantage of Sundays a lot. So so how have you seen in your clients in your history, dude, like taking this one-on-one thing? Like I know I heard you saying this a lot, but like really like how adapting this cleansing is like how important or significant, and what advice would I get from you about this? How can I maybe be more concentrated and focused on the cleansing part, no?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think that people can gain a lot of good knowledge from the perspective that cleansing and detoxification equals autophagy enhancement. So what we're really trying to do through the cleanses is just greatly enhance our autophagy. Now, coffee enemas, salt flushes, water fasting, sauna, cold exposure, even in some way, really intentional breath work could lead to deeper levels of autophagy. Autophagy generally happens, at night while we're sleeping. The other part of autophagy, though, is working out hard. So surfing, sprinting, lifting weights, those things induce and trigger as much or more autophagy than a water fast or a coffee enema. So those other things like the weightlifting and the really challenging workouts, people sometimes overlook and forget that's autophagy work too. Also, we can't separate autophagy from our nutrition because they go hand in hand. So a clean, customized diet that doesn't create inflammation or trigger you will also be a huge aspect of cleansing, detoxification, and autophagy, because it's allowing your filtration system to not have to deal with shitty food and dealing with the toxic load from bad food. So we have kind of three different aspects of autophagy that we all want to pay attention to. So we have the diet, we have exercise, and then we have cleansing and detoxification practices. They're all good. And finding the balance with those three personally is how you hit your groove. If you're someone who leans more towards water fasting, and that's something that you love, the meditative and spiritual aspect of it, great. Do it as much as you want to. Do a 24-hour water fast every week. But here's the thing. Make sure with your biomarkers, so your body signals, your sleep, your sex drive, your hormones, your digestion, your mood, your energy, your workouts, isn't suffering from the water fasting. Because sometimes people will water fast too much and then they don't get enough calories and nutrients and nourishment, and it starts to dilute their body. If you cleanse too much, it can then lead to less autophagy because your body's in a stress state. It's in a fight or flight state. So having a nice balance of autophagy and nourishment is key. And going back and forth with balance between both of them is how we allow ourselves to get rid of the junk and then fill ourselves up with what will heal us. Get rid of the junk, fill ourselves up with the good nutrients that are going to keep our healing and the customization of the diet moving forward. So you really are in a cool place where once you understand all these tools, you can make it so that it's the easiest for you. I would always ask myself, what do I enjoy doing? If I don't enjoy doing a coffee enema or a salt flush, I might not ever do them at all. What's the point? I can facilitate cleansing and detoxification in many other ways. On the other hand, if I hate water fasting or intermittent fasting or any type of calorie deprivation, hey, then saunas and cold exposure and rebounding and lymph massage and working out and getting my diet really perfect might be a easier or better way for me to focus. So knowing what works best for you and then creating the healing lifestyle that is actually easy and fun, that allows you to do the things you want to do, that's what makes it possible to be consistent long enough to make this thing work.
Great. That's great to hear, because I feel like sometimes I just have this idea of like I needed to include it, no? And like, okay, let's just give an example. It's like, okay, tomorrow is gonna be the day, but then the last 3 days, you've been surfing, you wake up at 4 a.m. and then you go basically surf fasting, maybe you eat a banana or something, and that's it. And then I just have breakfast like 10 minutes ago, right? And then you're eating a lot and you're doing a lot of exercise, and then the day that I want to fast, then I'm hungry, so I'm like, maybe I'm just like, so I think it just make me, maybe I'm adapting a little bit, but it's like not seeing it like as like week by week, but more like a kind of like a momentum where everything just fits, and there's a momentum where I need to like really just, I feel sometimes guilty that I'm being hungry because I'm like, no, because of the benefits of the fasting and stuff. And maybe I'm overvaluing these and not the body, the body communication, no? So that's good.
So something that I could probably speak on, because I know you a little bit, is you have a spiritual energy. You're very mindful. This thing isn't just about, eating the right food. It's deeper for you. And many people that are similar to you, like me, we have somehow taken on certain beliefs from our communities, like plant medicine and water fasting, good, eating food, bad, and it's just not that way. So what I'm saying is sometimes we have to let go of everything that we're believing. I'm not someone who likes to have any beliefs. I just like to have experiences and wisdom. And then this is the black and white data. So instead of believing a program, even if it's from healthy, healing people, that food is bad, food is life. Food is everything. Like the right food will set you free.
Of course.
So cleansing and detox has its place too, but we have to be careful with our assumptions and our beliefs, because many times they can make us feel guilty for eating healthy food. And that's something that is a stress that can be overcome. Also, just to play devil's advocate, when we have that deep intuition or that deep emotion of guilt, we can also listen to it and explore it. Why am I feeling this way? What's the root of this? Do I have a belief, or is my intuition really telling me something? And what we can do is we can just ask the body. We can say, I'm being drawn to fasting, so I'm going to do a 3-day water fast. I'm going to ask my body if it really likes it. Go for it. Do the 3-day water fast, then check in with your biomarkers for the next 2 weeks to a month. And if your biomarkers improve after the water fast, then yes, your belief was right. It worked really well. Use it as a tool. But if you do a water fast for 2 or 3 days, and then for a month afterwards, you don't feel right, guess what? Water fasting isn't for you.
Yeah. Cool. No, thank you for that, dude. They definitely have a little bit of more perspective on how to approach that. And then I know a little bit, I'm just going to share it very lightly, but like I'm a very tall person in small country, kind of like people, right? So I'm hungry, dude. I need to eat twice of people. And I think that also makes me feel guilty because it's so hard to find food here. So there's definitely something there. I'll work it out. And yeah. So another question that I have, it was regardless the utensilios, like let's just say a pot, like if you use like a metal or an iron stuff, like, or like wooden stuff, or like cutting, like I don't know how, again, no, these beliefs or this questioning, like how much power do they have? How, I don't know, I try to change it sometimes, but then it's kind of hard to get the other one, and it's not being so successful. It's just being in our heads here with my wife. We both, that's also very helpful. No, we both try to being healthy, and we were just wondering, how really that can affect your hormones, or like, like heating your water and these like plastic stuff, like to have a tea or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's something that I think unpacking this can be very helpful. And I like to have the mindset. I think it's a helpful mindset to say everything that I can do and that I have control over, I'm going to do my best to just do good at that. The things that are out of my control, I have to put a little effort into completely letting go of them. The worry and obsession about every little thing can be worse than the things that we're stressing about. So cutting boards, clothing, microplastics, all of this, the right cookware, the right sweatshirt, the right undergarments, the right bed sheets, this can start to be overwhelming. So what I say is the things that you can easily accomplish, like, okay, like maybe I can't change my whole entire wardrobe, and I don't know the percentage of impact that's even having. Hey, maybe it's huge. Maybe it's 50% of my problem is my clothing. Maybe it's 0 because I have plenty of clients who eat out of plastic, who wear polyester, who have microplastics in their life, but they do good with the foundational stuff, which is the cleansing, detox, the diet, and the healthy lifestyle, good sleep, working out, getting outside, relationships, and they're fine. They're good to go. Their biomarkers heal. So can it be impactful for some people? Yes. We've all heard the stories I've told about a certain number of clients that were doing everything perfect, and then they switch out all of their utensils for metal and wood and get rid of all the plastics, and then 30 days later, they have a huge healing. Yes, that does happen, but it's not the place to stress about. It's not the first thing to look at. It's further down the line. It's more of the rabbit hole nuance than the big picture stuff. Now, once your big picture stuff is doing good, you're in rhythm with your customization of your diet, and you got a good lifestyle with cleansing and autophagy, and you have some good support systems, and everything is kind of jiving. okay, now maybe me and wifey want to just get rid of all of our plastic cups this
Okay,
week
cool,
and get new ones.
cool.
Cool. We
Epic.
did that. And then
Get
2 months later, hey babe, let's buy underwear that's 100% cotton. Cool.
Yeah.
And just little by little, you just kind of keep making steps. It doesn't all have to happen all at once, everything. It can
Yeah, of
happen
course.
little by little. And if we have the marathon approach, the mindset of, I'm just going to take my time with all of this and just learn it at my own pace. There's no rush. There's no finish line. It's just this project that I get to take on forever. And hey, if I get to the removal of microplastics 4 years from now, cool. At least I get there. If I get rid of my bad cutting boards a month from now, hey, cool. At least I got rid of them at some time. And the stress and the obsession can be worse than the actual toxicity of some of these things.
Well, no, yeah, I like the part of like getting the foundation and then little by little. Yeah, so that's cool. Then definitely other things that we were just bouncing around, and I was also bouncing around. It was you mentioned about the breath work, no, about the meditation part of it, no, like of course meditating is gonna be, but there is any specific or any like that have you heard or maybe you practice, I don't know, like that kind of like targets healing in a way, like I've seen some stuff online. I don't need to mention them here, right? But like I've seen it, and like I don't know, there's so many information what to believe, right? So I tried some and they kind of work, but I wanted to know if maybe you have something that you personally like, or I don't know.
Yeah. So I always have to kind of say this to cover my butt, but there is nothing that is magic. There's no magic. There's no magic tricks. There is no special breath work or special meditation or special cleanse or special food that will just flip everything and start that healing process. With that said, the good news is that any form of meditation or breath work that connects you to the deeper aspects of you and slows down your heart rate and lowers your stress and works with regulating your nervous system, this is all directly communicating with the root issue and is helping you heal, whether that's TM or whether that's holotrophic breath work or whether that's just sitting with your thoughts and being aware and observing, or whether that's Ujjayi pranayama, which is inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Whatever meditation technique allows you to tap into that type of energy is going to be the magic thing. So there is no magic thing, but everything that works is a magic thing and a good thing to play with. I look at meditation more as an ongoing practice that I do and try to meditate all day, every day. And all that means for me is, how many times throughout the day can I be observing and aware of my breath and breathing patterns? And then the same question with my thoughts and my communication with myself. So how am I reacting to my own thoughts, and what is my breath like? And I notice that if my breath is relaxed and smooth and deep and mostly through my nose, and my relationships to my thoughts are very healthy, I am in an amazing place no matter what's happening. It doesn't matter the external world, stress, chaos, snow, fires, wind, bad day of work, good day of work, hurt knee, whatever. If my thoughts within my relationship to my thoughts within myself is positive and healthy, and my breath is controlled and slow, I can be in a really good place. And the more I'm in that place, meditation, the more my immune system and nervous system is unraveling, it's relaxing, it's stepping out of fight or flight. Meditation, breath work, especially the breath work that is calming, is going to be very, very healing. One bit of caution: really powerful things like the breath of fire or some of the Wim Hof, where you're
of course,
breathing really, really fast. Notice how that makes you feel. Many times that can make people feel extraordinarily anxious or not very content. That's not the right breath work or meditation practice for you if that's what it's producing.
Good. Then I have another one, and I'm gonna ask the question. Sorry, dude, but I'm getting my charger because I have low battery. I'm sorry. But it's about the skin part and the kind of like creams and stuff, like I tried tallow, I tried German creams, I tried like coconut oil, I tried all these different type and different momentums also, like after the shower, after, like with the mushy of the still wet or something. But I don't know, like definitely I feel like hydration helps, but I don't know really if there's again, I don't know if the sorry if the question is stupid again about this. I'm not asking for a miracle cream, but if there's any behavior, have you checked it out where some sort of oils or creams have a better effect or something like that?
Yeah, and this one's super super individual. I think that, and you probably already know this, so this is more for the listeners and the people viewing. But we want to obviously use stuff that's all natural, that doesn't have fragrances, that doesn't have perfumes, that doesn't have endocrine disruptors or VOCs or anything in them that can lead to toxicity in the body. So that's a starting point for everybody all the time. All natural products. Now, one of the safest ones across the board is tallow, and tallow is made in a bunch of different ways from a bunch of different producers. And some tallow adds things like castor oil or manuka honey or coconut oil. Some is just plain. That's a good starting place for people. But things like coconut oil, jojoba oil, cocoa butter, these are some of my favorite ones because they have a low possibility of triggering anything with the skin. Now, seborrheic dermatitis is a completely different monster. Not only does it have the immune system issue, but it has a separate system of malassezia. It's a certain type of fungal bacterial issue that causes the crunchy, weird, dandruffy, gross stuff. Something like a Dermazen or something that has antifungal, antibacterial, and none of the oils that feed the malassezia, for those people, sebderm people, will be extraordinarily important. If you have seborrheic dermatitis and you're pushing coconut oil onto your body, you're actually feeding the bacteria. So that's not good. So something like a castor oil would be better, or something like a tallow would be better. But the company Dermazen here, and here's what I hope the guys at Dermazen don't get mad at me for this, but you can look at Dermazen's website and they list their ingredients. Look at them. If you can't get Dermazen or Dermazen's too expensive, then buy the ingredients separately and try them. So I look at moisturizers and the things that we use topically the exact same way as the diet. It needs to be fully personalized and customized through a little bit of experimentation and basic kind of logic to make your way through it. Generally, the symptoms and the surface of the skin is the hardest to deal with because it tends to be the last thing to heal, right? Biomarkers tend to start to heal first, and then the symptoms, the dry skin, the flakes, the redness, the flare-ups tend to go away last, which sucks, but that's kind of the way it goes. So I always tell people, do your absolute best to deal with the symptoms naturally, but also keep in the back of your mind that most likely you're going to get the most progress with your skin when your biomarkers start to get a lot better.
Yeah, sure, sure. I remember when I was in the US and when I kind of like joining using the app, and it was really cool because you can just measure it. Here it doesn't work so much, and I kind of like learned how to like measure it, no? So that's cool to try to keep, and also after the operation, everything, like taking way more notes on the sleeping. I definitely have suffered this year from insomnia a lot. So after the operation, taking track on like when do I go to sleep, when do I wake up, that's cool. And yeah, well, I mean, I've been experimenting with the oils and also the creams, so that's why I ask. But I know totally what you mean, no? Yeah,
One
dude,
thing
like
to add about moisturization, though, just this
yeah,
is
sure.
important. There is also a kind of subsection, a subgroup of the skin health community, the no moisture therapy people that have put out a ton of information basically scaring people to think that moisturizers are holding you back. And I have to say that that's utter bullshit. Like, healthy moisturizers like tallow are just like eating nourishing food. It doesn't stop your body from producing moisture. Your body's going through an immune response. Even people with healthy skin, perfectly healthy skin, sometimes get dry skin. It's called being a human. You don't take away dry skin by not eating water, drinking water, dehydrating yourself, and stopping all moisturizer. I just need to throw that in because one thing that I did find helped me radically and helps a lot of my clients was having no shame about putting moisturizer on 100 times a day. I used to have coconut oil and tallow on me all the time. And anytime my face or my elbows or my scalp got dry, boom, lube up. I was moist and clean all day long. And if I woke up and I had flakes, I would get them off. I would use some type of exfoliating gently and get rid of it. And then moisture. It took away some itchiness. It helped with my inflammation. And for me, if I went to bed and I was very, very lubricated up, it helped me sleep through the night much better.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of reapplying moisturizer as much as you freaking need to.
No, I actually seen that on the nights also, like when the times are right and it's just like a bath and then like a shower and then like the creams and stuff, like all that kind of like rituals, but for the night make it like way more better to sleep. And I was just connecting the things on the diet. I have a question because I think it's related with the gut and all these connection that it's also kind of like really hard to accept sometimes that you're producing all these gnarliness, and you need to somehow pull it back, no? So there's definitely, I remember I was following the ones that you were suggesting when I was in the US. I don't remember the name right now, but it doesn't matter. Like probiotics being very good to take on pills. There's definitely, now I'm exploring and using, well, when I was in the US, way more. Here it's not so easy. I'm trying to get a system of like kombucha and kimchi and like chucrut and stuff like that just feels kind of good to eat before the food, right? And the pills and stuff. But again, I'm getting into the system of like how to really get these things in this part of Peru, and to try like ship them and send them and stuff. And I'm studying, so I need to be very precise on what do I bring, no? So these naturals, probiotics, what's how important are on the diet, let's just say, compared to just having the pills?
So probiotic supplements are completely unneeded. Sauerkraut, raw carrots, apple cider vinegar. And here's what people don't understand. Things like beef is better for your gut biome than any supplement because it's about nourishment and non-triggering and allowing the body to regenerate its own enzyme production and its own gut biome. Our bodies regenerate themselves. Yes, a little bit of help from things like raw sauerkraut, raw carrots with coconut dressing as a little tiny salad once in a while. Those things can help. But a probiotic supplement actually isn't going to do what food does and what your lifestyle does. Is it negative? It can be. Is it positive? It can be. I don't really mess with supplementation that much. What a lot of my clients find is that when they go a full year being consistent, they tend to not need supplements, not need superfoods, and not need any special type of like medications or creams. It's just, they're like, oh, I don't need any of that stuff. Now, one thing to mention, just because you brought it up, kimchi and foods that are really spicy tend to be really hard on the gut for people like us. So you might want to be very careful with anything spicy. That's always something to think of. In terms of being a student and having a hard time maybe finding like a raw sauerkraut, The cool thing is like, if you can find cabbage and you can find a glass jar and you can make your own sauerkraut at home, that's really delicious. And it really is easy. You chop up the stuff, put in some water, add a few other ingredients, put it up on the thing and wait a bit. And you got amazing sauerkraut. So making your own can be a nice way to get it in the best quality possible.
No, epic. I totally get it. And definitely eating the meat is being a little bit of the medicine, not saying like the main thing of the medicine. So this is just stuff that I feel like I add before the food. So then they kind of like help digestion or whatever. No, so because one of the main things that happened last year, in these last 2 years, is that after actually a problem at work and kind of like this anger management kind of a thing, like I was like working and suffering, and it was so stressful, but I believe it at the moment, that I got like stomach pain on the left side of my it was kind of like an ulcer. I think it's in English, the word ulcer. Yeah. So I was like taking aloe or stuff like that and actually trying to eat at the times. So sometimes like when I think I'm like thinking too much in the fasting and not so much in the eating, this comes back a little bit, no? So it feels like something's burning, like again, like it's like, oh, you're hungry, dude, no? So you eat and it kind of like goes away, right? But then I know it's like a line, like a defined line in between that being healthy and just my stomach saying like, hey, dude, we're hungry, right? Compared to really like something that it's just burning there and like, right? So definitely when I feel that, taking some like aloe or glutamine or like the probiotics before my food. And normally I like, again, like I source myself with a local butcher. It's not grass fed, clean, everything, but it's as fresh and I can get every week. So I eat that every day, basically, no? So it's just the meat and some avocados and some zucchinis and that's it. And a lot of cocoa ghee or butter. And it's just pretty simple, straightforward, no? Like again, I agree, and I like very much this approach that you kind of like share about like being simple and being funny and being just really good, like you're licking your plate every day after, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So something to touch on here, and this is one of the misconceptions about fasting, is that if I fast enough or fast long enough, it's going to heal everything. And that's not true. One of the drawbacks to long-term fasting is that it destroys your gut biome. It doesn't help your gut biome to fast. It helps with getting rid of stuff, but it generally, for a lot of people, doesn't really drastically help the stomach or the gut biome. It can for the right people, but again, it's always about just being really honest with the data. If you do a little bit of fasting and afterwards you can feel your ulcer and feel your stomach not feeling good, I would say, okay, that's the sign to nourish. It needs nourishment, because the lack of food is triggering inflammatory response in some way, and that's not generally helpful. Sometimes our stomach biome and our gut biome is in a place where it's a little overly acidic, and when it's overly acidic, it needs meat because that's what it can break down. Fasting, it will almost eat away at itself in a way. So that could be an aspect of what's happening there.
cool. And I think around the last areas that I wanted to talk a little bit, it was the relationship parts. No, I think you also addressed these, and I was taking it in consideration even more after reading the things and doing the workshops, and like how important it is to have these goals, because sometimes, for example, I don't know, like maybe with your partner, you want to have like pancakes and enjoy yourself. I don't know, eat something, and I think it's great. Like there's no guilty on that. But what happens when I also take these from your phrases, like don't let your success being your no like being damaging you again. No, so sometimes you're good and you're celebrating, and then maybe you celebrate too much, and like how this but then that's the way to relate personally, because if not, I'm sleeping at 9 and everybody's just going to play music or live music. So I'm like, oh, I'm missing out. I don't know. So, I try to balance, and there's, I think, a time for everything. But uh, is any, I don't know, comment or maybe knowledge about this kind of like isolation needed, but at the same time enjoying being social and like having a partner or like just going to a party? I don't know, right? Like, yeah.
Absolutely. No, I get that. This is a great question. I think part of the healing journey is really being conscious and aware of what it is that we're going after, right? Okay, so having a fun breakfast with your partner, having a pancake breakfast and eating good foods and enjoying each other. What's the purpose of that? Love and connection and something fun. The question I would ask is, can I have a loving connection and have a fun, light time without the need to eat shitty food?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. If I can do that, then I win on both sides. If I'm going out to a party, why am I going out to a party? Is it to see my friends and have good conversations and listen to music and move my body and have a good time and let go of my work day and just go and be social? Or is it to eat the shitty food and drink the alcohol? Well,
Yeah.
for me, what I've noticed through my life is that I'm having way more fun in life now that I don't really drink, use drugs, or party in that way.
Yeah.
And I don't eat shitty food. So when I go to a party, I have a great time because I'm not putting anything in my body that makes me feel bad. And it's that simple for me. I just don't want to change my energy to something that's not that fun. And if I'm going to party, I'm going to have amazing conversations. I'm going to be the first one on the dance floor and I'm going to stay up late and enjoy myself until I'm done. And then I'm going to go home and have a good sleep and wake up happy and then go, oh, I just got to have both a great time and I didn't mess myself up. That's one way to look at it. The other part of this is once in a while, who gives a fuck? Just do whatever the hell you want. Smoke that joint, drink that beer, eat that donut, fully enjoy it. Understanding that you're choosing to do so is different than not choosing to do so. If you choose to have a good time, you're conscious of it, you enjoy it, and then you move on and get back to your good stuff, then I don't see the need to be perfect in order to heal this thing. You just have to be on the right path and on the right trajectory and stay consistent. So I think both are important. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And if I don't need the alcohol or the bad food to have that enjoyment, then cool, I'll skip it. But if really I just want to have donuts with my wife, or I want to have wine with my wife one night and we haven't done it in a long time, just do it, enjoy it, and have no guilt.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like the guilty part, like lose that extra thing, because if you did it already, the good thing, as we were talking, is like having these conditions, the skin stuff, like makes you take decisions. Like, for example, the alcohol. The alcohol, I think, is one of the things you need to take out of your life. It's been 10 years that I don't drink, and of course, I can do a toast, I can do a cheers. I'm not gonna double think about that, right? So I'm happy to hear that, because then I like this question before, like, okay, I'm doing this for what, and how can I actually make a double win, So I think that double win I'm gonna take with me, and I'm gonna try to do it. And yeah, for sure, I think the timing and again, I think for what I'm taking out of this conversation is that I think I was being too focused on being so good on some stuff, and I'm forgetting that it's not. I think I'm gonna be good on that regardless on time if I don't make it so good, kind of like half a week or a week, So
Absolutely. Also, I think there's a part of socializing, and I shared this in my last podcast with Julian, is that why not also like have your relationships be a part of your healing? So like, hey, wifey, like, let's go on a healing date. Let's go jump in the ocean together and then do cold exposure and then do sauna together. And like, hey, maybe we end up, making love, or like, that can also be a super fun experience to do with people. Hey, Johnny, my best friend, like, I noticed you don't work out. Come work out with me, bro. Let's work out together. Or, hey, friend, let's go surf, or let's go for a walk, and make the entire healing process of just being healthy social. And what you find is that the more you include people into these fun, healing, social things, then it becomes part of your community. And then it's like you look forward to it, you know, like I used to have weekly rituals with my circle of friends, and it felt like we were partying, but we were just doing cold exposure together. Or we were just eating a barbecue of all healthy foods. Like, I can't tell you how many like healthy potlucks I hosted back in the day. And it was amazing. Everyone brings a healthy dish and everyone's there to communicate and enjoy each other, but it's like on another vibe. It can be fun.
I totally agree. And actually, as I was saying, like, I mean, I think one of the challenging things is not living on a city where it's easy to find a community. Like, it's easy to find a community to want to go surf here. I have that. That's cool. So it's like a couple of crazy people that wake up at 4 a.m. and then you're at 6 a.m. You're already in the water. So that's great. And also I have had some barbecue stuff with some friends that he's in a keto diet also for some health stuff. And it's kind of like gathering this community little by little. I see it like by you wanting it or changing it, like it's just even though we're three, it's better than one, no? So that's kind of cool. But I would like to highlight the question of the first part. Maybe I skipped that part too fast, but because I feel like there is a solo time needed also in a way, right? Like, how do you manage that, or how's your experience to that, or talking with so many people about this?
Yeah. And I think that having a little solo individual alone time, whether that's in small blocks on a daily basis or bigger blocks on a less frequent basis, everyone's going to have that as a different need. I know for me, I live in the middle of nowhere by myself on a big farm, and I get to spend a lot of time alone doing whatever it is that I feel like I need to do. And that's what I need. If I lived in a community where my family and my friends were all around me all the time, I go a little nuts. I'm not that social of a person. I need connection when I need it, but when I don't need it, I just don't need it at all. So again, it kind of goes back to what is it that you feel intuitively that you need, and then give yourself that, make some boundaries, set things up, and then give it some effort and see how it goes. If it feels too isolated, then do less. If it feels really good, then stick with it. And I'm not trying to be like, it's just this basic, but sometimes it can kind of be, if we're not sure what to do, we don't have to figure it out. We can just ask, okay, I'm not sure what it is that I need. Let me try a little less social time and see how it goes. Okay, I know how that feels now. Now I'm going to try a little less isolation time and more social time, see how that feels. And to find our own specific rhythm with it is super key.
Wanted to say thank you, dude. And I for sure want to highlight the fact that being part of a community and just having these conversations, being able to check, not just here, you know, like any community that it wants to be healthy and stuff. Like, I think it's super important. I didn't value that before. I think I was the isolated kind of person, which I like. But I think also knowing that there's just another people around kind of like trying the same, it also feels good, you know. There's like, so I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you for creating this context for people to join in and share and receive information and stuff, you know, like that experimenting. Let's just say like this. I'll try to wrap it up like this. Experimenting with yourself in a good way, you know, like, and the fact of taking notes and like taking the diary and taking all these things really helps, you know, and really like puts you in a different, it sets you up, you know, it sets you up for a new start for whatever, you know. So I just want to address that. And
Nikolai, it was it's great chatting with you. I always have great energy, man. I appreciate you. Again, for the people who are listening. He comes from our online community. That's how we met. He started showing up to the Q&As from the Eat, Cleanse, Move online course. And he's someone who has been, working the system and making it his own for a while. And as you heard today, having some ups and downs, but the trajectory is in the right place. And
Yep.
I have no doubt, based on the conversation that we've had today and in the past, that if you continue to be the dude that you are and keep putting the effort in that you are, I have no red flags that you can get your skin really healthy, really manageable, and hopefully to the place where it's just completely a thing of the past.
Thank you, man. Thank you for that. And yeah, definitely I feel that vibe also. Every time there is also these reconnections and stuff. Now it sets you up to like keep the work. So it's also nice to touch base a little bit and being like, okay, it's like a little pits, change the tires, keep riding, no? So thank you, dude.
Absolutely.
And thank you for everybody to hear this.